welcome to another episode of Everything Under the A Umbrella, brought to you by Wewe Media. And today we have an amazing guest, one of the industry-leading ad platforms out there, RichAds. We have Anastasiya joining us, and here to talk about her platform and a little bit more about casino marketing in specific. Anastasiya, the platform is yours. Introduce yourself to our audience. I know they're very excited to hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. Yes, my name is Anastasiya. I work for RichAds Advertising Network. Basically, I'm working there as a chief commercial officer at the moment. So that means that I'm dealing with all the clients and all the traffic that is on our site.
And can you tell me a little bit more about RichAds and what you guys specialize in, what type of ads that you specialize with? There's push or in-app or display. What is kind of the inventory available on your platform?
Yeah, sure. So we started a long time ago, and we started at Rich Push. I think some people know us by this particular name. And then with the time, we added pops to our campaigns, and then we have this domain called Rich Pops. And after that, we started making an in-page. So that was just, two ways for us: either continue making new domains with new names and have like several networks, or just unite everything under one name. That is when we came with this RichAds, and we just united all the formats that we have. So right now we are working with push, we're working with pops, we're working with in-page and direct click, and we're also starting on native. So that would be a new thing for us, new thing from us in 2023. We're working with all the geos. So we have a huge inventory, and basically our main focus is on gambling, on antivirus, and on betting. We do a little bit for other offers, but like our main focus are in this particular verticals.
Nice. So what I want to do in the first segment of this is kind of bring it back and dial it back to, when you started at RichAds and kind of the journey it's been. I see that you've come in as customer success manager, and you've worked your way all up the ranks all the way to chief commercial officer. So when you came in as a customer success manager, what was that role? Where were you coming from before the industry? And what kind of, how were you introduced to the industry?
I started probably almost 5 years ago in this company, and I started as a newbie. I was working as an account manager, so I was working with clients, and I was helping them to, reach the highest success within our campaign. And before that, I used to work for a crypto project. It was like a startup, but it was completely different from what I did here in the first time. So everything was new for me. The whole industry was really new for me. And a part of my job was just, communicating with the customers, with advertisers, helping them. So that was easy because I was doing this before. So that part was like natural for me. But the biggest challenge was the optimization process. As an account manager, you need to be able to optimize the campaigns of your advertisers, and to give all the recommendations about the micro bidding and stuff, and how to really get like the highest possible results. So that's part where I just learned from the very start, and it took a lot of practice to really understand how it's done and everything. So that's probably the way. And then I don't know, I just in a couple of years I became like a head of the department where I was working, and kind of after that I became to the position where I am. But it's it's cool because I started from the very first steps of being account manager, and I just know the whole process because I actually was participating in it while building my careers.
And for sure, I think that whenever you come in at a more of an entry level role and you kind of work your way up, you accumulate all of these different skills that you never had before. Like, what you were describing really sounded almost like data analytics, and coming from somewhere where you didn't really do this on a daily basis. I guess you just every day when you're surrounded by it, you learn these different skills, and if you're surrounded by good people, if you're a quick learner, you're like a sponge and you just like absorb everything.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if you're kind of just starting your career, yes, it's very easy to learn something new because you don't really have the way of doing things, so it's easy for you to learn, to implement it to yourself, whether you're just like switching to career where you've been working for 20 years and you know everything in that field, and you're switching to new field and you're like always comparing, so it's easier to do it from the start.
And I think as you grow on, and there's, you're the proper candidate for that position because you've kind of seen everything, and when you start up in a startup company, you kind of wear so many hats. You probably are a chief commercial officer, but you're involved in a lot more other things as well. So you said you guys started in 2012, you said, or 13?
Me, myself, I started it in 2018, I think.
Okay.
And the company started a long time before. We was just doing a couple of different things. And with push, I guess, we started in 2017, 2018. With the platform itself, but we was working with traffic, I don't know, since probably 2012, 2013.
So when you came in 2018, how has the company changed? What was the company's focus when you came, and how has it evolved since then? So were you focused on a specific ad format when you came in? Have you added a lot since you joined over the past few years?
It's actually funny because as you told, it was like just a startup, and everything was really, chaotic, and everyone was doing like multiple things, and it wasn't really some kind of processes that we had at this point, and it was very exciting place to work, and all the time we build all these processes, so everything is like everyone has a specific role in our company right now, and it just helps with the communication, and everything is just working smooth. But in terms of the vertical, I've seen how the industry has been shifting, because back in 2018, 2019, I remember there was a huge amount of Nutra offers coming, and a huge amount of sweepstakes. That was just probably like the main part of our work. And with the time, we saw how the gambling is growing, particularly on push and on pops. And it's kind of this verticals, they just switched. I don't think that the geos themselves have switched, because all the snooker offers, they were really popular in Asia, and right now gambling is popular in Asia. So I think in terms of volumes in the countries, we haven't changed that much, but the verticals that we are working with are changing, and it's something that is happening every year. Some particular vertical is becoming less popular, something new appears, so it's already it's always like a process where one thing that you're completely sure that it wouldn't be the same next year because of all the changes that are happening, and just a constant change.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we can relate to at Wewe Media, the network of what verticals are doing best this year, and there's definitely like a window of opportunity where you can really, if you're first to a vertical or a country, you can really kind of smash it, and before a lot of other people do. And then I have a lot of experience media buying as well. And, it's always about finding the new stuff and testing the new stuff that, sometimes isn't so popular. So I see that you guys kind of are spread focus across a few verticals like utilities, finance, Forex, sweepstakes, casino, and Nutra. What is the breakdown of kind of where the revenue is going these days on your platform in terms of verticals? But how would you rank those verticals?
I would rank them from gambling, then antivirus, then betting, then I would place probably like casino financial offers, and then it would be just some kind of a dating. And with the sweepstakes and with Nutra, we do have these offers, but in terms of, if we compare it with the previous verticals I mentioned, it's not such a huge amount of them. And it has different reasons. If you're working with gambling and, for example, you have offer that is determined to bring, for example, deposits, then obviously you have large budgets, right? And with Nutra offers, it's usually like per leads or per sale, and just the CPA there, it's kind of way lower, so the budgets are kind of lower as well. And that's just, it's a logical thing, and when you think about it, it's nothing surprising. And during past, probably like in 2020 and this year, we started to be more focused on gambling, and we see how this vertical is really growing with us. It's exponentially growing each month. So that's the thing that we will be focused for in 2023. We believe we have really good traffic for these kind of offers. We have lots of clients. We see lots of results. So that's something that we will develop.
Nice. So let's kind of dig a little deeper here and talk about casino a bit, because it is very interesting for us as well. Because just like you, I think we made a serious shift in direction towards devoting more resources to the casino vertical. So we kind of hired a casino team. We brought in people who ran their own brands in the past, and this group kind of really opened us up to like, wow, how big this vertical is. And it's been around for a while. It is a part of human nature to be interested in gambling and obviously adult stuff. And, this is one of the verticals that's never going to go away, which is why I feel like it's a staple in our industry. And even though these, brand operators do have ways of acquiring customers without our industry, it is still a very, big revenue stream for them. So I do see a lot of casino networks at shows. I have been to IGB. I see how massive those booths are, and it is massive. And obviously, those booths cost a lot of money. So I've never ever run into like a poor casino before, or a broke casino. So obviously, there's a lot of people pumping a lot of money into these operators online. So let's talk about geos. And what geos are doing well on RichAds for casino, because that's, as an affiliate, that's what I'd be interested in, is where do I start? What is driving the most volume as of, I would say, the past 6 months or 3 months for you?
It really depends. So it's obvious that all the tier 1 geos are really successful, because basically they have like huge amount of money, and they usually play for fun, not so much for the earnings. And in terms of the longevity of these users, they are higher, and just because they are like more wealthy and they are more eager to really put money into it. And so if you're looking for the kind of long-term customers and stuff, then probably you should go to like English-speaking countries from tier 1, which is basically like United States and Canada. They are really huge in volumes and everything. But the point is that if you're a newbie, it's really hard to really get there because these markets are really competitive. And just in terms even of the first deposit, it's always higher there. And it's it's a big difference. And if you don't have such a large amount of budget for your first test, or you're just starting with it, then definitely you can go to LATAM countries. Basically, Brazil has been like a huge gambling country starting since, I don't know, probably 2021, latest 2021, and it will be this year as well. We see that lots of offers are running to Asian regions, so this is also another way how you can really bring that profit for yourself. And but there are like some differences in terms of approaches that you will have while running these different countries, because for like tier 2 and 3 countries, of course you will need to have lower minimal deposit, because basically people will not really gamble. And again, there are a competition there, but you just need like a lower funds to start on it.
I would say like the traffic cost cheaper.
It is.
And what about when it comes, because I think I noticed about LATAM is like traffic costs are cheaper, the volume is still there, like there's tons of
tons of people, of course.
Tons of people in Latin America, even Southeast Asia. I live in Southeast Asia now, I live in the Philippines. I can see how fast it's been growing in the past couple of years here. So I do see trends kind of picking up. And I totally agree in terms of the US and Canada might be kind of where the big boys play, where the big budgets play. It's not like you can't make it work, but you got to know what you're doing over there, because it costs a lot of money to test. And
it's kind of an expensive traffic, even. If we're talking for like push and pops, which is basically really, I would say, affordable formats of traffic when it comes to these geos of tier 1, like United States and Canada, it's more expensive than the rest of the world. And the thing is that several offers are working great for this particular like 2 countries. That is why like your CPC is way higher than you would be for like Asian countries or Latin America. And if we're talking about Europe, then it's probably the biggest one is Germany, of course, and Switzerland, and these countries are really good in terms of volume and in terms of interest for the gambling industry. But they are, again, more expensive than it would be for Latin America and for Asian region.
So one thing as a media buyer that I'm always like interested in is, yes, it could be, say Brazil is like kind of the new hot geo this month or the past few months. But one thing, the next step I look at is there a lot of offers available? Because, one thing could be spiking and then all of a sudden, no, we're not taking any new players, and you've set this, you have this really strong campaign and there's nowhere to put all this traffic in this optimized flow. Do you see a growing amount of offers in LATAM that it can handle the type of, I guess when one goes down, there's a lot to replace it, or is there like just 1 or 2 big hitter operators in LATAM?
It's actually a lot there, because they are starting this to get in these licenses and regulations. And we were at the conference in the end of last year, and it was a gambling conference. Basically, we were in Malta, and all these big gambling companies were there, and everyone was talking about Brazil. Like everyone had their head up to this particular country because they see a lot of potential in there. Because again, it's getting highly regulated and legalized there, so it's easier to really work with big brands. And the only thing for Brazil that you need to remember that the payment options that they have there, they are different from what you would see in tier 1 country. They have their own like particular payments. So when you choose the offer, you need to make sure that there are like compatible payment systems that are out there, because otherwise you wouldn't just be able to get these deposits, because people basically wouldn't be able to pay. So, but the the competition among the offers there is high as well. So, and it will be growing during this year for sure. I don't know, maybe it will triple by the 2025. This is kind of estimations that we have. So this is definitely a hot geo to look into.
So would you be recommending running it through, is it push ads is what the actual ad form that's doing well in LATAM right now, or is it a different type of format, like pop or in-page?
What I recommend to use is push, pops, and direct click. So this is 3 formats that are working great for gambling. I wouldn't go with in-page, because in-page is more of a,
push,
like
pops,
dating format for sure. Yeah, and direct click. So with push and pops, there are pops are working great for gambling, because basically this is kind of really wide offers. So you don't really need to target a specific audience because like there is no really a clear shift between the ages or the gender. Everyone plays, everyone gambles, so you can reach your audience no matter in which particular targeting you're aiming. You can just go like completely wide and find the customers. So pops, even without any creative on it, they will work great for this particular kind of offer. If you're looking for deposits, because again, offer can be different. Like some offers, they are looking for just registration. Some offers, they are looking for deposits. Some people are working on revenue share, so they're looking for the longevity of users. Not even the first deposit, but the deposit that they will make after all. And with the direct click, we see that the deposits are way higher than with other formats that we have. So if you are looking for the deposit, then definitely you can go for the direct click. It's a bit more expensive, but in terms when you're looking for deposit, you kind of you can spend more than you spend on registrations, because usually basically they pay a lot for like the deposits itself. And yeah, it's working great in terms of the deposits, but like pops and direct click and push all work great.
So is this mostly majority mobile traffic or desktop traffic that's doing well?
We see both of them are doing well. But again, if you're going for like tier 1 countries, we see that everyone is aiming to get this, 45 plus man audience, and they tend to play from their computer still. So what I recommend to do is to build 2 separate campaigns. One campaign is for mobile, and then you can just duplicate it and switch it to the desktop. So it's basically 2 clicks for you, and you will have 2 separate campaigns for different traffic sources. So basically for desktop and for mobile, different devices. In terms of other limitations, I wouldn't really go there because it's all really the part of the optimization process. So the first test that you launch, I advise you to run to as wide audience as you can. So basically, as wide audience as you can. If you are launching for mobile, I wouldn't really, I wouldn't really go and choose any specific operational systems or like any specific regions in the countries, cities, nothing like that. So I would just basically put the country itself, put, for example, mobile device, and just choose the premium group and go with that. And after like some time, usually it's up to a day, I will start optimizing, because you will see the numbers, everything, like what is converted for this offer for you, what is not, and you will just be like, you will have enough information to actually make some decisions and to exclude something, or just make a big hire on some point. So that would bring you way more success than you would do it like at the first place and just cut part of traffic without even trying it.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice. For me, it's also a strategy is start wide and you start to cut the sub IDs one by one based on the data that you guys give.
Yeah, so, exactly.
One thing that I kind of want to talk about here is some of the features that RichAds have and what they mean exactly. So what is performance mode?
So the performance mode is our new, I would say, option that we have is basically the best sources from the platform based on the offer that you are running, and we are providing them with you. So it's kind of the whitelist that you have without actual need to contact the manager and to ask for it, and it's the whitelist that we're updating. So based on your results, you will get new lists like what are working for you, and you will get additional lists like it. So performance mode is a great feature if you want to save your money and if you don't really have enough time for optimization to choosing really this particular sources that are great for you. You can start with this particular feature.
So that whitelist comes from the behavior of like people on your platform.
Yes. It's based on the performance of your campaign and based on the data that we have from our own launches on different offers.
Interesting. I definitely will give that a test or have the team test that out as well. Another thing I see here is the multi-format and optimizer as a feature.
So the optimizer is basically helping you to optimize your campaign. What we're doing our company is we're trying to save the time, because we see that you can launch any campaign. If you wouldn't really optimize it, it wouldn't be successful for a long time. I mean, if it's a campaign, some offers are like just 3 days long, this kind of offers where it's some kind of a deal and you just launch it for 3 days, then you switch it off and never launch again. Bit offers might work great without optimization, but if you have a long-term offer where you're planning to run it, like, I don't know, for months and a year, and then you definitely need to optimize it. I've never seen an offer working for more than a month without the optimization having a great result. And we see that especially for a newbie, if you're a newbie, it's hard for you to really understand how to really make the optimization work. And again, you need a time to invest in this, and everything is just like way more complicated than it could be. So we made this optimizer where basically we're helping you to optimize your campaign. We're giving you different advices, and you can basically just accept them, and the campaign will be optimized for you. So what we are doing is we're aiming to make it easier, because again, it's a win from both sides. You have great results that mean that you are staying with us for a longer period of time. And if, for example, you just come for 3 days, you don't do, I don't know, even for a week, you don't do any optimization, you just wasted your money and you walk away, it's not a result for us. It's not what we're looking for, because we're looking for a stable base of customers. So we're really interested in you staying with us, not rather spending your whole money in a few days and disappear. So this is what we're aiming for.
Okay, nice. I think all the stuff that you guys have in place seems like you can make a media buyer out of anybody. All you gotta do.
This is what we're aiming for, actually, because when we started to build that, it was just our focus from the very start, because we understand why people stop working and what they are really looking for. And we have all the account managers where your campaign can be fully managed. If, for example, you don't have either time or possibilities or skills for it, it can be fully managed for you. But also we understand that we can't really provide an account manager for each single customer, because some of them, they want to stay self-serve, and some of the customers, I mean, we have lots of customers, so it's kind of impossible to really give the same attention to each of them. And that's why we came with this different optimization strategies that we're building through the platform. So everyone, no matter what budget they have, they can have the same results.
Nice. And definitely going to take some of that advice and see if I can apply it to our own campaigns moving forward, and especially getting into those regions. And I guess one thing, moving forward and talking about the future of what's coming up, Brazil is hot now. I know you mentioned Southeast Asia, but are there any particular countries that are catching your eye of I think this is kind of blowing up, or this is blowing up? And does that have anything to do with kind of regulatory environment? What kind of dictates what's coming next in your opinion?
It's definitely something to do with the regulations, because basically you need to have the licenses for these specific countries to really have big brands. The big brands to licenses for different countries. And what we see right now is that Germany is getting a lot of license this year, and probably the whole Latin regions. We see Peru is getting lots of licenses. We see Brazil is getting a lot of licenses. We see Chile. So we're expecting these particular regions to also go really high in terms of gambling. And that will all happen this year, because they are really looking for this, and big brands like we're constantly having a conversation with them about like what is the next big country, and they all are looking into this particular region. So I think we will have lots of brand there in 2023.
Nice, and definitely, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen, a lot of different countries in the LATAM region and Southeast Asia kind of grow over the past 6 months. Living here, I kind of see all the different operators kind of popping up. Every SMS texts are actually very popular here in the Philippines. But the good thing is about like kind of casinos that there's so many different ways that you can make it work. You can make it work with native, you can make it work with other types of traffic sources, but and that's why I think that it's such a good vertical to start with. Or to get into and put resources, because there's so many different ways to make it work. And internally we are big fans of push as well. So I do know the power of push. If you do get it right and you do kind of do it properly, it is a scalable traffic source and a scalable niche. So if there are good offers, like you said, then it is something kind of ticks all the checks to kind of dive deep into a campaign. So I guess that kind of wraps up a bit of the serious stuff and the meat of it. And I did want to kind of close up this podcast with a little bit more on a lighter note, a little getting to know you on a faster level. So we call this kind of rapid questions. These are some of random questions that I haven't even seen yet that the marketing team put together. So I keep it surprised, though I'm even like kind of don't know what's coming next. So I'm just gonna ask you 10 things off the top of like randomly, and you just say the first thing that pops into your head. Cool, Anastasiya? Are you game?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, let's do that.
We had a lot of serious talk, and now it's time to like kind of let loose a bit and relax. So, all right. If you could be an animal, which one would it be and why?
Oh God. If I'm talking for myself, I would probably want it to be a dog because of the loyalty. I really admire that. But in terms of what people usually call me is like a rabbit, because I have a really huge 2 front teeth, so I have been called like that from my childhood. So
oh no.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you don't want. You don't gotta be that. Maybe you could call you, but you don't gotta be that. You can. What kind of breed would you be? Because I'm a big dog lover. So what kind of breed would you be?
I really like corgi.
Nice. They're very smart. All right. Next, this is not an interview about what kind of animal, but next is, what is the craziest thing that you've ever done to impress someone?
I think I've done a lot, but the one thing that I have and that I'm really trying to stop doing is sometimes in a conversation where I don't know what the person is talking about, I pretend like I do. And sometimes, this is probably while growing up, just to look smarter, and sometimes during the course of the conversation, it's actually like come up to the point where the person understands that I have no clue what we're talking about. And that part is embarrassing. So I'm always like, what I'm learning is to actually like say, no, I don't know this topic. Can you explain more? And this was like a hard part for me because I had like lots of situations where this is like the point of no return, and you don't know how to act in this kind of when it's come up to, but you've been lying the whole conversation. So yeah. So this is what I'm trying not to do to impress people. It's okay not to know stuff. It shows.
At conferences when it doesn't really have anything to do with what I do in the industry, and then you just kind of bring it on until it gets to a point like, all right, man, all right, give me your card.
You need to change the topic. Yeah.
All right. So next one. If you could switch lives with any fictional character for a day, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's easy. That's probably will be like Harry Potter because of the magic.
Harry Potter. Nice.
Yeah, I would just like, it would be cool to be be a magician, to do everything with the magic, either your own like skills and like efforts.
Do you ever watch? Mine would be. You ever watch Fast and the Furious?
Yeah.
I would be Dominic Toretto.
Wow.
Vin
Just
Diesel.
to be like a really cool guy. Yeah.
All right. So if you can be okay, fine. It's kind of similar. So if you would be a superhero, what would you be? But you kind of said Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one. What is the most unusual talent that you possess, or skill that you possess?
Sometimes when I meet people for the first time, somehow we get into really deep conversations, and I know that it's coming from my side. I don't really aim to do that, but somehow it's just turning all the time like that. And sometimes because people like start sharing stuff, they start crying. And people who know me, like who came with me, they are like, oh my gosh, I started this again, because they see like the person is just crying and I'm hugging them and like trying to calm them down. And like people who know me, when we get like into the deep conversations and they like, oh my God, you're doing this to me again. And I'm like, this is not the aim. I don't know how that happened. Like it's happening all the time with me. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to stay off the topic.
I have a couple friends like that too, like, when they just all of a sudden they start talking, it goes into the deepest talk. And I was like, did you guys just meet? Like, why are you guys talking about like your life goals and stuff like that? So I can completely relate to that, and it's funny.
On the point of all these people, we're not aiming to make anyone cry. Just into the circumstances, not us.
I actually feel myself crying right now.
No. We didn't start.
So. Last thing is, why don't you kind of say goodbye to the audience and invite them to your network and see, one last plug for you before we end the podcast.
Yeah, sure. So again, I just wanted to say thank you so much for inviting me today. I hope that this talk was actually useful, and I hope to see you all with gambling offers or maybe any other offers at our platform. We will do our best to show you the success that you could have with us. And again, thank you so much. It was really great conversation. I really loved it. So thank you again for inviting, and hope to be on your podcast again.
All right. Thanks a lot, Anastasiya. I had a great time as well. Have a great weekend, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.